All right, today we're jumping right in and deconstructing the brand new strategic blueprint for the Nigerian Army. This is the command philosophy from its 24th Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General O.O. Oluyede, and it gives us a really fascinating look at what's next for one of Africa's biggest and most critical military forces.
Okay, so let's get right to it. What you're looking at here is the official diagram of the new command philosophy, and you can see it's shaped like a classical temple. And trust me, this isn't just a cool graphic. Every single piece of this structure, from the foundation all the way up to the roof, symbolizes a core part of the Army's new game plan. This image is going to be our map as we break it all down.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start right at the top with the main mission, then we'll dig into the philosophy behind it, the key objectives, and those four huge pillars holding it all together before we look at what this all means for the future. We're going to start at the very top of that temple diagram, the roof, if you will. This is where you find the single, ultimate purpose of the entire Nigerian Army. Yep, right there at the very peak of the whole structure, the mission is laid out in just 5 words: to win all land battles. You can't get much clearer than that. It's direct, it's decisive, and it really sets the tone for everything else that's about to follow. No messing around. Okay, so right below that mission, we find the engine that drives everything. This is the personal philosophy of the Chief of Army Staff himself, Lieutenant General Oluyede. This is the big idea right here. It's all about building a well-motivated and combat-ready force, but you gotta notice that last part, within a joint and multi-agency environment. That is huge. It's not just about the Army being strong on its own. It's a massive signal that working together with the Navy, the Air Force, and civilian agencies is a top priority. So a grand philosophy is great and all, but how do you actually make it happen? Well, the document breaks it all down into 7 key objectives. This is where the vision meets the real world. And everything hinges on this number, 7. There are 7 core strategic objectives that are meant to be the guideposts for pretty much every single thing the Army does from here on out. And here they are. You can see just how broad this is. It covers everything from the really personal stuff, like putting a soldier-first culture at the top of the list, to the high-tech, like modernizing equipment. But it also looks outward, talking about building better relationships with Nigerian civilians and international allies. It's a real 360-degree approach. Now, let's talk about what's holding this whole philosophy up. We've got 4 foundational pillars. These are those big columns we saw in the drawing, and they are the absolute core of this entire structure. And here you can see it perfectly. Those 4 pillars: leadership, sound administration, professionalism, and combat readiness. They're the bedrock. But, and this is super important, look closely at what they're all sitting on: a soldier-first foundation. That's a critical detail. It's telling you that the individual soldier is the absolute base for this whole vision. All right, so let's get out the magnifying glass and really zoom in on these pillars. We're going to break down what's inside each one, because it's these details that actually make the whole philosophy work. First up, pillar number 1, leadership. The document calls this the bedrock of a functional and effective army. So we're not just talking about giving orders. It's about setting the standard, encouraging new ideas, and really getting everyone on the same page. And this is built like a chain reaction, right? It all starts with exemplary leadership, leading from the front. That builds accountability, where leaders own their actions. And when you have that, you get mutual trust between commanders and their soldiers, which, finally, leads to a powerful unity of purpose across the entire Army. It all connects. Next, we've got sound administration. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds kind of dry, right? But in this philosophy, this is where that soldier-first idea really comes to life. Like the document says, without soldiers, there would be no army. This is where that soldier-first promise becomes real. It means focusing on personal welfare. We're talking housing, healthcare, taking care of families. It means a system for recognizing bravery to keep morale high. And, of course, it means having a clear, fair system of rewards and consequences to keep everything disciplined and accountable. The third pillar is a huge one: professionalism. This is all about building a foundation of trust and respect, not just inside the Army, but with the Nigerian public too. It's about making sure the whole force is operating at the absolute highest level. So how do you build that? Well, it's kind of a 2-pronged attack. First, you've got the skills part, building competence with modern training and getting back to the basics of good soldering. Then you've got the culture part, upholding the Army's traditions and customs, and using regimentation to build that tight-knit discipline and teamwork.
And finally, that brings us to the fourth pillar, combat readiness. At the end of the day, this is where it all comes together. It's about making sure the Army can actually handle the real-world security threats facing the country.
And this pillar is all about the practical stuff, the nuts and bolts. It means nonstop training for today's conflicts. It means having the logistics for effective sustenance to keep troops supplied. It calls for a smart, pragmatic approach to repair and maintenance so equipment is always ready to go. And critically, it hammers home the need for sharp information and intelligence and real synergy. That means working seamlessly with everyone else.
So, after taking this entire blueprint apart piece by piece, what's the final message? The document ends with a really direct and powerful call to action for every single person in uniform. The whole thing wraps up with this rallying cry: as an Army, we will secure our nation and safeguard its future. It's a call for every member of the force to see this philosophy not just as a set of rules, but as their fundamental duty, a really powerful end to a very detailed plan. And as we look at the complete structure one last time, you can see exactly how all the pieces click together. It starts with that soldier-first foundation, which supports the four pillars, which hold up the command philosophy, which achieves the mission. Every single part is connected, all designed to build a stronger, more effective, and more resilient Nigerian Army. So, this leaves us with one final thought. Having a clear, well-designed plan is a fantastic first step. But the success of any strategy isn't about the words on a page, it's about the execution. With this blueprint now in place, the real work for the Nigerian Army starts now.